And first, again, just a quick anchor back to the mission. The mission statement is to make commerce less expensive and even profitable. And the reason that happens is because of who our target market, who our target customers are. I need you to understand that the single greatest area for growth and profit in the mobile industry is converting the non-smartphone users into smartphone users. Now, smartphone users like Todd and I, we love it, and we're going to use it, and it's for everybody. But half of the cell phone users in the United States are not yet using smartphones, and there are a couple of reasons why. You know, one is the expense. They cannot, or they either can't afford it or they can't justify the expense. And when you talk about can't justify the expense, I want you to meet Luke and Jill. And they're two cute boys, Cole and Cade. Now, Luke is a firefighter, and I don't know what you know about firefighters, but firefighters don't happen to make a lot of money. Luke and Jill are very budget conscious. They have two young kids, and they're very budget conscious. They're already saving for the boys' college educations, you know, those things that young parents do, right? And they're getting in, and they're saving for retirement, and they're just budget conscious. And right now, they cannot justify a mobile phone subscription. It just doesn't make sense to them. It's not that they can't afford it; they can't justify it being in a budget conscious situation. So right now, today, they are with Verizon. And Verizon is charging Luke and Jill today $115 a month for their cell phone service. They do not have data currently. Okay, so that's important for you to keep in mind, because when we talk about Luke and Jill onboarding with Solavei, part of that discussion is obviously, well, so how much are they going to have to pay on a monthly basis? So as we consider that, I want you to consider what Solavei is to Luke and Jill. Solavei is a social commerce network that provides a unique income-generating opportunity for members through its nationwide 4G mobile service. Most important of all, it's $49 a month, unlimited voice, text, and data. A $49 membership fee. It's actually referred to as a membership fee. Thanks to the beauty of technology, I can make that adjustment. And it's no contract. And for some people, it's helpful to know that there's no credit check. Okay. So what we look at with Solavei is how we as members will be paid. Solavei has one basic building block, and Todd, you very brilliantly pointed them to the compensation webinar, that video, and I want everyone to watch that after this webinar today. After you watch the vision webinar, in order, this webinar, the vision webinar, or the vision video with our CEO Ryan Wersch, then the compensation.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but one interesting point that you just made inadvertently is, if you want to see the compensation webinar, you of course must join the lane, and that's exactly what you're also going to tell your prospects. So they get to the idea of the vision, but when they are thirsting for more, say, well, you have to join the lane, and that's what it's there for. It's to invite people and to find out more.
Mm-hmm. In the under the Share Now category. Okay,
correct.
Absolutely, yes. So our basic building block is called a trio, and a trio is very simply 3 customers. So the way Solavei works is each phone is its own business center or profit center. So let's use the case of Luke and Jill, for example. Luke gets his Solavei phone and service, and Jill, of course, needs one as well. They both carry a phone, and so Jill actually is Luke's first customer. And unless you want to go in the reverse order, it doesn't matter one way or the other. Jill signs up and Luke's her first customer. It doesn't matter, okay? So here's Luke, and he has his phone, And that phone is going to be a business center. But remember, the power in this is Luke and Jill have no interest in starting a business. They just want to save money on their cell phone bill. And if they could get smartphones for cheaper than they're currently paying for their mobile service without smartphones, they're definitely going to do it. Okay, so Jill is Luke's first customer, and then Jill is going to sign up and pay her $49 a month. So they pay together combined for their cell phone service $49 and $49. My math skills tell me that's $98 a month. Now, a question always comes up, well, does that include tax? Well, what is it that we buy that includes tax? Nothing includes tax. Tax is added on, and that varies by where you live, by your state. You know, Todd, you live in the Northeast, famous for high taxes, among other things. And so, you know, your tax rate is generally speaking higher in the Northeast than it is for us out here in the West. So I just bring that up because I see a couple of people asking about it in the chat panel. So Luke and Jill pay $98 for 2 phones, smartphones, unlimited talk, text, and data. So guess what happens over the course of that first month? Luke actually is kind of bragging about his new phone, and he found a couple of cool apps that he plays with, and he tells 2 of his firefighter buddies. Yeah, I don't know what you know about firefighters, but they're a close-knit bunch, and they spend a lot of time together. And when they're hanging out in the firehouse, not chasing down fires and running in as people are running out, you know, they're hanging out and socializing, watching TV, and playing on their smartphones or whatever. So over the course of the entire month, and I'm going to use a very conservative example here, Luke tells 2 of his firefighter buddies about it, and they want to get signed up, and he clicks right on his phone, and they enroll actually right on his phone. So when that happens, Luke completes what's called a trio. Okay? So in month 2, how much do Luke and Jill pay for their cell phone service? Well, they still pay $98. But now because Luke signed up a trio, 3 customers, one of which is Jill, the accountants online are going to love this, Todd. I know that parentheses mean negative in accounting terms, right? So 98's the negative, right? They paid out. Luke gets a $50 fab. Remember I talked about fab earlier, and we used that example with the $150 fab, and we talked about Kim I spoke to yesterday, got her $150 fab check. Okay? So Luke makes a $50 fab because he completed his first trio. Now, all the details are on that compensation webinar that Todd talked about. You'll find out that you get $100 for your second trio, you get $200 for your third trio, and your fab tops out at $650, and you do that within your first 60 days. Okay, you'll learn all about that in the vision webinar or in the compensation webinar. But Luke's excited because he just made $50 for completing his first trio, and you make what's called a trio pay of $20 per month residual for every single trio in your own personal network. Now that means every trio that you sign up, and we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here, every trio that they sign up as well. Okay. But we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Let's stick with Luke's trio that he just completed. So he made $20 for his trio here that includes Jill and 2 of his firefighter buddies. Okay. So they paid out $98. They brought in $70. If someone says that second month, well, how much was your cell phone bill this month? What's the answer? Their cell phone bill was $28, right? 98 minus 70 is $28. They have 2 phones, 2 smartphones, unlimited talk, text, and data for $28 a month. Do you see the power in this? This is so huge. This is huge. Guess who gets excited? Her name is Jill. Jill gets so excited because she says, hey, wait a minute. Our cell phones are almost free. What if I told a few people? So she's actually, you know, it's a nice time of the year, and it's a fun activity during the day to get the kids out of the house and get them to get some energy out. She takes them to the park. And as she's sitting at the park on the park bench watching the kids play on the swing set and at the park, she's talking to another one of the moms sitting there watching her kids. And Jill is just gushing about her smartphone. She has never had a smartphone before. She loves it, and she's downloaded this new app. And she says to this lady who she's never met before, by the way. And again, I'm using a conservative example because you and I both know what they both would do. They start telling everybody they know. but let's be conservative here. She tells someone she doesn't even know. She says, my favorite part of this phone is this phone only cost me $14 this month. My husband has one, and his cost $14. We got both of our phones for $28 a month. Now, do you see where I'm coming from with that example? That's based on Luke telling 2 people and signing up 2 customers. That lady says, what? Say what? Are you kidding me? Jill says, well, last month it was $49 each, so it was $98. But then this month it dropped to $28 because my husband told 2 of his firefighter buddies, and they signed up as customers. What's this lady say at this point? What should she say? She says, how do I sign up? I want to pay $49 a month for my cell service and see it go down. So Jill does that 3 times in a month. And I don't care who those people are. I don't care if they're strangers on a park bench. I don't care if they're co-workers at her part-time job that she drives 45 minutes each way twice a week to go to. I don't care who they are. Jill completes a trio. When Jill completes a trio, we already know what happens. She gets a $50 fab plus a $20 trio pay. But Luke, when he gets home from the firehouse that next morning at 8:30 in the morning, Jill tells him how excited she is because she just completed a trio, so she gets $50 plus the $20 residual, monthly residual. He slaps her on the rear end and says, good game. It's a little inside joke there. Good game, because not only did she make $70, but Luke also made $20 for her trio. So Luke now, in month 3, we'll call it, he makes $20 for the trio that Jill is in, and he makes $20 for the trio that Jill's 3 customers are in. So how much did they pay out in month 3? They paid out $98. How much did Luke make in trio pay? Well, he made $20 for this trio, and he made $20 for this trio. So Luke made $40 in trio pay. How much did Jill make? Just like Luke in month 2, she made $20 trio pay. How much did she make in her fab, her fast action bonus? Just like Luke in month 2, she made $50. So if you add all that up, hang on, we got to keep the accountants happy. 98 is a negative. That's how much they paid for their 2 cell phones. They brought in 40 plus 20 is 60 plus 50. They brought in 110. How much did their cell phone bill cost them that month? It actually didn't cost them any money. They made $12. That's a Starbucks for Jill and a beer for Luke. And they are loving life because their cell phone just paid them. Now, Todd, when people on this webinar get what I just shared right there, they obviously will be fast to sign up, get in, get started, and become a part of the Todd Gross Solavei group, because let's face it, this brand is going to be huge. This business is going to be huge. And the bottom line right now is you have got to get in and get started, because when we have the opportunity to get involved on a cutting-edge, value-based business that helps people save money and make money, that has the kind of backing that a company like Solavei has, that has the kind of corporate leadership that a company like Solavei has, Todd, what have we got to do? We've got to jump in with both feet, and we've got to get started.
Exactly. Just like you and I did.
Exactly. So it starts by clicking on the